Section 1 of Poems 1817. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Poems 1817 by John Keats. Section 1. What more felicity can fall to creature than to enjoy delight with liberty? Fate of the Butterfly. Spenser. Dedication to Leigh Hunt, Esquire. Glory and loveliness have passed away, for if we wander out in early morn, no wreathed incense do we see upborne into the east to meet the smiling day. No crowd of nymphs, soft-voiced and young and gay, in woven baskets bringing ears of corn, roses and pinks and violets, to adorn the shrine of Flora in her early May. But there are left delights as high as these, and I shall ever bless my destiny, that in a time when under pleasant trees Pan is no longer sought, I feel a free, a leafy luxury, seeing I could please with these poor offerings a man like thee. The short pieces in the middle of the book, as well as some of the sonnets, were written at an earlier period than the rest of the poems. End of section 1. Section 2 of Poems 1817 by John Keats. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Poems. Places of nestling green for poets made. Story of Rimini. I stood tip-toe upon a little hill. The air was cooling, and so very still, that the sweet buds which with a modest pride pull droopingly in slanting curve aside their scantily leaved and finely tapering stems, had not yet lost those starry diadems caught from the early sobbing of the morn. The clouds were pure and white as flocks new shorn and fresh from the clear brook. Sweetly they slept on the blue fields of heaven, and then there crept a little noiseless noise among the leaves, born of the very sigh that silence heaves. For not the faintest motion could be seen of all the shades that slanted o'er the green. There was wide wandering for the greediest eye to peer about upon variety, far round the horizon's crystal air to skim, and trace the dwindled edgings of its brim. To picture out the quaint and curious bending of a fresh woodland alley never ending, or by the bowery clefts and leafy shelves guess where the jaunty streams refresh themselves. I gazed a while and felt as light and free as though the fanning wings of Mercury had played upon my heels. I was light-hearted, and many pleasures to my vision started. So I straightway began to pluck a posy of luxuries bright, milky, soft and rosy. A bush of mayflowers with the bees about them, sure no tasteful nook would be without them. And let a lush laburnum oversweep them, and let long grass grow round the roots to keep them moist, cool and green, and shade the violets that they may bind the moss in leafy nets. A filbert hedge with wild briar overtwined, and clumps of woodbine taking the soft wind upon their summer thrones. There too should be the frequent checker of a youngling tree, that with a score of light green brethren shoots from the quaint mossiness of aged roots, round which is heard a spring-head of clear waters babbling so wildly of its lovely daughters, the spreading bluebell. It may haply mourn that such fair clusters should be rudely torn from their fresh beds, and scattered thoughtlessly by infant hands, left on the path to die. Open afresh your round of starry folds, ye ardent marigolds. Dry up the moisture from your golden lids. For great Apollo bids that in these days your praises should be sung on many harps, which he has lately strung. And when again your dewiness he kisses, tell him, I have you in my world of blisses. So haply when I rove in some far vale, his mighty voice may come upon the gale.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?